Chapter 12, Character Analysis. After the Sergeant Major had cut off 6 of his fingers to save us, they made yet another attempt at cleaning up the bloody table. Rahim walked over to the table and picked up the .44 revolver, but he didn't hand it to the Sergeant Major, as I figured he would. I could tell he was thinking about something. When the frown came upon his face, I knew the result of his thinking was not going to be good. Rahim flicked open the cylinder to the .44 revolver and peered at the single bullet in it. "This won't do." Silence. Nobody wanted to say anything. We were not certain what he was thinking about, and nobody wanted to prompt him to advance in a worse direction than he may have already been leaning. Rahim spoke to another of his men, who instantly produced another .44 revolver. Rahim extracted 2 bullets from the .44 his man just handed him and put those bullets in the one which previously possessed only 1 bullet. Now it had 3. He gave both pistols to the man he called Jalal. Jalal took both pistols and put them behind his back and seemed to be switching hands with them. Now Jalal held out both revolvers to the Sergeant Major. He did not take either one. Instead, he posed a question to Rahim. "What is this?" he inquired. "This is for the finger you requested I be given. I have decided I will give my own finger to you now. Instead of having only 1 bullet to worry about, you now have 7. As you know, one revolver had 6 rounds in it, and the other had 1. But now, one has 3 rounds, and the other has 4. You get to pick which one you wish to use against yourself. Choose," he concluded. We roared our disapproval. Instantly his men poked their rifle muzzles into our bellies, but that is not what silenced us. It was the Sergeant Major. He was smiling. "You smile?" Rahim questioned. "Why would you smile?" The Sergeant Major said to him, "I have come to realize something about you. You have orchestrated this event simply to ascertain if I possess any character worthy of discussion. I believe you wish to suggest to your men that you are a superior force by virtue of your character and religion. But your deck is stacked. Your test of me is no indicator at all. But," he continued, "if you really do wish to sell your men upon your supposed superiority, I suggest a slight change, one which will truly indicate excellence of moral character, or the lack thereof." "Are you afraid?" he asked, challenging him. All the insurgents peered at Rahim. "I am listening, Sergeant Major," Rahim replied. "Good. Now pick," he said. "Pick?" Rahim questioned. "You wish for me to pick the .44 you will use against yourself?" "No," he said, holding up his bandaged hands. "It would be rather difficult for me to shoot myself in the head." "You wish me to pick a revolver and shoot you with it?" "No." "What then?" I knew exactly what Brad was suggesting. He was a brilliant man, even in the middle of chaos. He said to Rahim, "I am saying we need another chair, one for you to sit in, as I am." The implications dawned quickly on the Iraqi leader. He knew if he refused to sit and put a gun to his head, as the Sergeant Major was going to have to do, then Rahim would be the coward and not the Sergeant Major. As Rahim stood in indecision, the Sergeant Major said, "Once you pick the first revolver, you can give it to your man Jalal, who will place it against your temple. And then my man John will take the other revolver and place it against my temple. At the count of 3, both men will pull their triggers." I could see Rahim did not like what he was being forced to do. To put a revolver against another man's head is one thing, but to have one against your own head is quite another. Rahim looked nervously at his men. They were looking at him. He knew if he declined the Sergeant Major's challenge, he would lose the respect of his men. They would follow him no more. But what was concerning me more was that what Brad actually wanted me to do. The possibilities were endless. If I did exactly what he said I was to do, my friend could easily die by my hand. But then, so could Rahim die by Jalal's hand. That is, if Jalal pulled the trigger. Perhaps Brad expected Jalal to pull his trigger and me not to pull mine, but instead used the 3 or 4 bullets to try and kill his men. Or did he want me to kill Jalal after he pulled the trigger and then kill Rahim if Jalal didn't kill him? Or was Jalal going to simply shoot me and then Brad? But I knew this whole thing has been about character. Therefore, Jalal and I had to pull our respective triggers, else our moral character would hang in the balance. Of course, Jalal and I could both pull our triggers on empty cylinders, or we could both end up killing our respective leaders. Then what? The tension in the room was thick. Not a word was spoken, but the number of thoughts we collectively had could fill volumes. Rahim said, "Bring me a chair."